Hello friends, how are you? In yesterday class we were discussing about modern periodic table. Some of the students informed me that to re-describe or to re-explain about the modern periodic table. So before starting our topics, that is periodicity of periodicity, we will discuss little bit more about the modern periodic table. Okay. Before starting the modern periodic table, the one important point which comes in our exam, that is modern periodic law. Modern periodic law. In yesterday class, we already discussed it, so let me remind it. In 1913, Henry Moseley, 1913, Henry Moseley proposed that properties of element, properties of element are more fundamental with atomic number, or in other words say we can say that atomic number is more fundamental than atomic mass. In Mendeleev's periodic table, the elements were arranged on the basis of atomic masses, but in modern periodic table, after the concept developed by Henry Moseley, the elements were arranged on the atomic number. Henry Moseley proposed a law which is called modern periodic law, in which he states that the properties of element are periodic function of atomic numbers. Atomic numbers. One question that comes in your mind, that is, what is atomic number? What is atomic number? The number of protons, present in nucleus of an atom is known as atomic number. I am repeating again. The number of protons, present in the nucleus of an atom is known as its atomic number. The one word that is more fundamental property, that means the properties of element can describe more clearly. Here the properties, that means chemical properties, described more clearly on the basis of atomic number. Why? Because atomic number of an atom is equals to number of electrons for neutral species, that means neutral atom. And you know that the chemical properties, that means number of bonds, is based on the number of electrons, so we can say that properties are more fundamental with atomic number rather than atomic mass. Okay, got it? Now let me consider the structure of modern periodic table. If we consider its structure, then firstly let me clear you that the vertical columns are called groups and the horizontal rows are called periods. These are groups and these are periods. Okay. One student asked me that what is the difference between Mendeleev periodic table and modern periodic table. The basic difference is in Mendeleev periodic table, the elements were arranged on the increasing order of atomic masses, but in modern periodic table they were arranged in the increasing order of atomic numbers. That means Mendeleev used atomic mass concept, but in modern periodic table it is atomic number. That is a basic difference. Okay, clear? Now one thing, the modern periodic table is also called long or extended form. It is also called long and extended form of Mendeleev's periodic table, or we simply said that it is long or extended periodic table because the main work were done by Mendeleev. It is just rearrangement of Mendeleev's periodic table. It is more explanatory, more detailed, more explanatory, more detailed. That's why it is called long or extended form of periodic table. Okay. Now comes again on our topic. As I said that these are groups and these are periods. These are groups while these are periods. In modern periodic table, there are 18 groups. There are 18 groups. If we compare with the Mendeleev periodic table, there was 8 groups. There was 8 groups. Clear? In modern periodic table, there are that there was 18 groups and that was 8 groups. In modern periodic table, there are 7 periods. In Mendeleev periodic table, there are 6 periods. That is the one more difference in their structures. Because today I am considering comparison between I am also doing the comparison between Mendeleev and modern periodic table. Okay. Now, in modern periodic table, there are 18 groups and 7 periods. Okay. The first and second groups is called S block. The third to 12 are called D block. The 13 to 18, that is called P block. And the lanthanides and actinides, the 14 elements, these are called F block. These are called F block. Now the questions comes in our mind that why they are called S block, D, P, F block. Block, it is based on the electronic configuration. The last electron of element enters in which orbital? Enters in which orbital? On the basis of that, they placed in blocks. In Niels Bohr model, you consider that that orbits, the orbits further divide into orbitals. The orbits further divide into orbitals. There are 4 orbitals: S, P, D and F. If the last electron of an element enters in S orbital, then it is placed in S block. If that last electron enters in P orbital, then it is placed in P block. Similarly, if it is D, and similarly that is F. Got it? So that is the basis of these blocks. Clear? One thing, let me rewind about it. The groups denoting the valence electrons. The groups denoting the valence electrons. That means the electrons present in the outermost shell. The electrons present in the outermost shell, that are called valence electrons. So the group number is denoting the valence electrons, while the periods denoting the energy shells. They are denoting energy shells. Got it? Clear? Now the first group, that one first, it is called alkali. These are called alkali. But let me clear you, hydrogen is not alkali. It is placed here because it is the first element of periodic table, so it should placed in the first group and in first period. That's why it placed, but it is not alkali. These are alkali. These are alkali. Got it? The second group, that means beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, these are called alkaline earth metals or alkali earth metals. Got it? These are called alkalis. Why? Because their oxides are basic in nature. And you know that These oxides are water soluble also. That's why these are called alkali. Alkali means that those bases or basic oxides which are water soluble. So the oxides of these two groups are water soluble basic nature. That's why they are named alkali. It is earth metal because it is found in earth crust. Okay. The d block elements, that is 3 to 12, that one, these are called transition metals. These are called transition metals. Got it? The p block elements, that means 13 to 18, these are called principal or typical elements. These are called principal or typical elements. These are called boron family, carbon family, nitrogen family, oxygen or chalcogen. 17, that is important for us, it is called halogens. The 17th is called halogens. Got it? And 18th is called zero group or noble gases. Zero group or noble gases. Got it? Clear? Now, as these 14 and 14, that is these first 14, these are called lanthanides, and these 14 are called actinides. They are collectively called inner transition metals. These called inner transition metals. Got it? Clear? Now, in the first group, in the first period, there are two elements, while in second and third there are 88 elements. In the fourth and fifth, that are 18, 18, and sixth and seventh, that are 32 elements. The two elements consisting first group, first period, is called very short period. This is called very short period. While these two, that means second and third, which have 88 elements, are called short period. The fourth and fifth, 18, 18 elements, these are called long periods. While the sixth and seventh, which have 32, 32, these are called very long or extended periods. Now there is a question in our mind that there are 18 groups, so it should be, if we mathematically we consider, then there are 18 elements. Why there are 32s? It is because if you carefully consider that lanthanum, that is 57 atomic number, and next one is, that is hafnium, 72. In between the 14s are placed here. So these 14 elements will count in this period. That's why they are 32. Similarly, actinum, after the actinum, there are 14 elements which are placed here if we consider in period. Now the question comes around, why they are placed separately? It is done so that elements of similar properties, elements of similar properties comes in same groups. Elements of similar properties comes in same group. If we placed 14 here, then they will shifted here. When they placed separately, then the elements of the similar properties were came in the same group. That's why they placed separately. So that was the main concept of placing them separately. Got it? Clear? Now, one more thing, that is semi-metals. These are called semi-metals. The right side from it, sorry, the left side from it, these are metals, while the right side from these are called these are non-metals. That means these are metals and these are non-metals and these are semi-metals. Got it? Understand? Okay. The last question we discussed in in our previous class, that is, if there is an indication of an element, that is, suppose that is X, which is atomic mass is, atomic number is, suppose that is 40, Now, the question that come in our paper that tell about the group number and period number. Group number and period number. It is a very common question in our exams. Okay. For that, you just memorize these elements and their atomic numbers. Helium 2, neon 10, argon 18, krypton 36, xenon 54, radon 86. Okay, that one. Because they will tell about this. 2, that means that one last element of this period. So before it, 1 is here. Similarly, 10 is here. It is 10th. It is atomic number is 10, and that is 2. That means after the 2 and before the 10 are placed in this period, that is 18. That means after the 10 and before the 18 are placed here, our number is 14. So it is clear that it is placed in this period. So the period becomes, period number is third. Now group number. Now we have to find group number. If it is less than 18, if we consider that, or leave it, or simply we less than may be possible that there is a problem for you, so we consider the simple concept. 18 is placed in the 18, 17 in 17, so 14 is in 14, this one. Got it? So the group number becomes 14. Clear? By memorizing these values, you can do different kind of questions also. And one thing also make me clear in your mind that this is very important period for our exam. Group is in our exam. Mostly the most common questions that comes in our paper, that is, which group elements are called noble gases, or which is called zero group. Then answer is 18th group are called noble gases or zero group. And sometimes it can also ask that, also give one or two example, so you have to memorize that. If you memorize all of that, then these are very simple lines. Okay, firstly you have to memorize a simple 1 to 10. Ha, he, li, be, bo, ka, na, of, ni. Ha, hydrogen. He, helium. Li, lithium. Be, beryllium. Bo, boron. Ka, carbon. Na, nitrogen. O, oxygen. F, fluorine. Ni, neon. And after that, the S and P block will memorize vertically, and D block horizontally. But let me clear you one thing, that it is not in our syllabus. Okay, so there is no need to memorize completely, but as a science teacher, it's my suggestion that you should memorize at least 30 elements up in the class 10, their names, their symbol, their atomic numbers, and their place also. And if you are 12th student, then you should memorize up to 50 minimum. There is no limitation of the maximum, but you should memorize the minimum about 30 to 50 elements. The line is, लीना ने कहा रूबी सजी फिर. लीना ने कहा रूबी सजी फिर. Got it? बेटा मांगे कार सुंदर बाप रोए. बेटा मांगे कार सुंदर बाप रोए. Clear? I know that is a funny tricks, but without tricks we cannot memorize that long form of periodic table. For that, Baba Ali gaye in Thailand. One thing let me clear you, I am not considering these elements, okay, and not these also, because these are totally out of syllabus at up to the 10th. Okay, when you enter in the 12th or 11th, then you have to memorize it. But let me clear you, I am making this video particularly for class 10. So Baba Ali गए in Thailand, काशी से गए शंकर प्रभु, नई पुरानी ए स्टार सब बिकेंगी और सलमा सिलेगी तेरी पॉकेट, फिर क्यों बाहर आई आत्मा, हीना नहीं आएगी कल ज़ेबा रोएगी, हीना नहीं आएगी कल ज़ेबा रोएगी. Got it? Now that one, transition metals, they memorize horizontally. स्किन टाई वाली क्यों मानी फिर कोई निकला कॉपर जिंक, स्किन टाई वाली क्यों मानी फिर कोई निकला कॉपर जिंक, ये जिंदगी ना मौज टिकी रूबी रोड पर आ गई क्या, ले ले हाफ टैबलेट वाइट रेड ऑरेंज इधर पड़ा आलू हलवा. Got it? So that is the main composition of periodic table. Understand? Okay. Now that is all we discussed here. If you want to know about it, then just watch the previous video. And now I'm starting the important topic, that is properties of periodic properties, periodicity in properties or periodic properties. 1 minute, let me rearrange the camera so it make you clear. Now one more minute, sorry for inconvenience. Now I think that's better. Now, okay. Periodic properties or periodicity in properties. In periodic table, some of the properties like the atomic size or atomic radius, effective nuclear charge, electronegativity, etc., etc., changed in a definite pattern. Changed in a definite pattern. In other words, we can say that when we go left to right in a period, one thing let me clear you, here we will use the word moving in a period. Moving in a period, that means we are moving from left side to the right side of periodic table. Similarly, we use moving in a group, that means we are going down, that means from upper element to lower. Got it? So in other words, we can say that when we go left to right in a period or up to down in a period, there is a definite order of change in properties of element. There is a definite order of change in properties of element. That means definite order, that means either they increase, either they decrease, or they maybe remain same. So that is a definite pattern of change. This sequential change in properties is called periodicity. Sequential or gradual change in properties is called periodicity, and such properties are called periodic properties. And such properties are called periodic properties. Got it? Now, let me start the first one, that is effective nuclear charge. Effective nuclear charge. Got it? If we consider the definition, then the force of attraction felt by the electrons of outermost shell of an atom by its nucleus. As you know that nucleus, that is a positively charged, while the electrons which are negatively charged, so there is a mutual attraction force, mutual attraction, because these are oppositely charged. So This attraction force between the nucleus and the electrons of outermost shell is known as effective nuclear charge, which is denoted by ZEEF, Z effective. Effective nuclear charge, shortly we can say that ENC, is always less than actual nuclear charge. It is always less than actual nuclear charge because the mutual repulsion between the electrons of outermost and inner shells balance the sum amount of nuclear attraction forces. It is called shielding effect. It is called shielding effect. Which one? The repulsion between the electrons of outermost shell and electrons of inner shells. Okay. Here there are two diagrams to describe about it. Suppose this is an atom, its nucleus, and there are electrons in shells. The nucleus applied nuclear charge, attraction force, which is trying to pull the electrons closer. But the inner electrons, which are, because of the same charges, they are repulsing. They are they repel these electrons. Got it? In this diagram you can also consider that these are outermost shells electron. They are attracted by nucleus, but the electrons of inner shells repel them. Because of that repulsion, these electrons felt less attraction force. Less attraction force. This actual force they are experience about they are experience is known as effective nuclear charge. The actual force which experienced by the electrons of outermost shell is known as effective nuclear charge. It is equal to the nuclear attraction force or nuclear charge. We can also say that nuclear charge minus shielding effect, that one and that one, repulsion force. If we consider the mathematical formula, then Z effective is equals to Z minus sigma. Z is nuclear attraction force, while sigma, that is shielding effect. That is shielding effect. Got it? Now let me consider its periodicity. How and what kind of changes appear in when we move in a period, when we move in a periodic table. On moving left to right in a period, Z effective increases because when we move one to next element, then proton is added. See, at that time electron is also added, but that is only on outermost shell. Suppose, to understand it, that is an atom. If I'm just to discuss with consider the next atom from it, then here one proton is added and one electron is added here. Addition of the one electron increase that, but addition of one electron here will not increase this because this is due to the inner electrons. This is shielding effect is due to the inner electrons, so there is no change in this, only increase in nuclear charge or nuclear attraction forces. Because of that, the effective nuclear charge increased. Got it? So we can say that on moving left to right in a period, Z effective increases because of increase in proton in the nucleus. When we move down, that means when we move in a group, that means, for example, if I consider lithium, sodium, potassium, or fluorine, chlorine, bromine, which are member of same group, which are member of same group. I'm again repeating because these lines comes repeatedly, so I'm again repeating. Moving in a period, that means moving like that. Consider the first and then second, then third, like this. And moving in a group, that means come downside. Okay, so while moving down in a group, Z effective decreases because of addition of the extra shells. Because of the addition of extra shells. Yeah, there is addition of proton also, but now if I consider, suppose there is two shells, if I consider the next element, downside element of that group, then there is addition of that shell. And as the distance between the nucleus and outermost shell increases, as the distance between the nucleus and outermost shell increases, the value of effective nuclear charge decreases. Got it? And since it is decreasing, so definitely Z effective will also decrease. So we can say that while on moving down in a group, Z effective nuclear charge decreases because of the addition of extra shells. Okay, now second property is atomic radius or atomic size. Both are same. Why? Because atom is a spherical structure. Therefore, atomic size is referred by atomic radius. Because if we consider the size of a spherical structure, then for most of the things are constant, only the variable values are. Okay, so clear? Now the questions comes in our mind, what is atomic radius? The distance between nucleus, the distance between the nucleus and outermost shell of isolated gaseous atom. An isolated gaseous atom, isolated, that means it will not, it should not bonded with other atom, should not bonded with other atom, and it is only possible in gas state. So that's why isolated gaseous atom, or we can also use neutral atom. We can use neutral atom word here also. So the distance between nucleus and outermost shell of an isolated gaseous atom is called atomic radius. Clear? Now let me consider its periodicity. There is example. One thing let me clear you, there are data, but there is no need to memorize these data. Just I'm showing these to make my points clear. Okay, now when we are moving in a group, when we are moving in a group, atomic radius is decreasing. Here the values, mathematical values in bracket, that are radius in picometer. Radius in picometer. 1 picometer is equals to 10 to power minus 12 meter. That is called 1 picometer. 1 picometer means 10 to power minus 12 meter. Got it? So as we moving in a period, the atomic radius is decreasing, while as we moving in a group, as we moving in a group, the size is continuously increasing. Got it? Now the questions comes in our mind, why it is. When we move in a period, atomic radius decreases because the effective nuclear charge increase. And you know that if the effective nuclear charge increase, then the electron will pull stronger by nucleus, because effective nuclear charge is the indication of attraction force of nucleus. So since it is increasing, so the electron will experience more, or we can say that strong attraction forces, so they will comes closer to the nucleus. And when they comes closer to the nucleus, the outermost shell will also decrease. That's why in period it is decreases. Got it? When we move in a when we move in a group, that means up to down in a group, the number of shells increase and effective nuclear charge decreases. As we discussed in the case of effective nuclear charge, as we move down, the addition of extra shells, there is addition of extra shells, and because of the addition of the extra shells, the effective nuclear, because of the addition of the extra shells and decrease in the effective nuclear charge, the atomic radius continuously increases. Got it? So in a period it decrease, in groups it increase. Okay, the remaining properties, periodic properties, will discuss in our next class. Hope you enjoyed it, like it, and if you have any question you can ask in our school app. Okay, and if you are not in our school, then you can ask in, you can write the question in comment box. Okay, thank you, have a nice day.